You made 2 cups of espressos, but they're more like ristrettos, huh?
Yeah, I would call this a ristretto and like very badly extracted.
What do you think is the problem?
Come from either tamping.
Today we are going to chat with my very good friend, Mr. Abdul Mateen. He happens to be trained in the dark arts of coffee. While doing his masters in entrepreneurship from Russia, he enrolled in a rigorous program to train and become a certified barista. I will be joined by my co-host today, my nephew. He's a fellow coffee enthusiast, a chef in training, Mr. Shayan Malik. My name is Faraz, and this is the 3rd episode of Great People Having Great Coffee. We're going to do it in 2 parts, so stay tuned till the end.
How do you gauge under extracted and over extracted?
The way it flows, actually. The way an espresso flows is really important. And what's the consistency? Is it running like water or is it dripping like honey? And how long this crema stays, and like if the espresso is too sour or too bitter, that means you messed up. It has to taste balanced with like some acidity, some bitterness, and some. So it's not. It has a certain degree of sweetness to it, but it's not in the conventional sense. It's sweet like sugar. It's sweet on your palate in a way after you drink a lot of espresso, a lot of bad espresso, a lot of good espresso. Then you can tell, oh, this is sweet and this is not. It's already cold, so it's already. An espresso is like, it's a very short life. Of 1 minute, and after that minute it technically dies.
यानी कि कहते हैं कि basically the coffee should, as long as the coffee is, if you look at it in a clear glass, as long as it has 3 parts.
Yes.
When it has 2 parts,
yes.
काम खत्म.
Yes.
3rd part कौन सा? एक तो आपकी crema है.
बताइए जी. Please, Mr. Barista.
The espresso, the body, and the crema.
Crema. Then there's a part
Which is something in between.
Yani which has foam, which is foamy, which is sort of converting into a crema. And then there's the liquid at the bottom. When the foamy bit has converted into the crema, तब कहते हैं कि now बस बहुत हो गया. अच्छा जनाब, केक की कहानी सुना.
I think the cake is, for the price, very good. I wouldn't give it a 10, but definitely a 9. Because presentation-wise, I did not like it. I did not like the aesthetic presentation of it. The way they sprinkle some cake bits around the edge, to me, it looked like, eggs Benedict with some paprika on top.
Okay.
But that's just me. And
he's our cake expert.
I think you would understand the idea how eggs Benedict looks, right? With some paprika on top. And I did not like that.
So what do you think? Is this?
What do you think about this cake?
क्या लगता है? Is it a sponge in it, या is it a cake or is it a sponge?
I think it's a cake. उसके लिए थोड़ा सा heavy है. मतलब उस तरह से light सा sponge नहीं है. But उसके अलावा taste wise तो बहुत अच्छा है. लेकिन presentation हाँ I would agree तो बहुत अच्छी नहीं थी. Aesthetically pleasing नहीं थी.
Could have been better.
Maybe अगर even plain भी छोड़ दे तो that would
sometimes less is more.
Less is more, exactly.
Yeah, and there was a nice lemon touch to it in the cheesecake. The cheese, the frosting part.
Yeah.
I don't know if they use cheese or not, but the frosting was really nice for me.
Yeah, it's actual cream cheese.
So again, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, but-
1 point just for like.
In Lahore, in Pakistan, people are not using cream cheese, which is supposed to be red velvet cake. It's supposed to have cream cheese on top.
True.
अच्छा बताओ उसका tell me about your trip to Russia.
It was a very interesting journey.
How long were you there?
2.5 years.
Acha, you did your masters?
Yes, and an extra semester just to get my master's degree lined up and like learn the language and get the paperwork, because Russia is all about paperwork.
Right.
You rent a flat, you have to sign a document. You don't just go there and be like, oh, ठीक है मुझे rent चाहिए. Of course, stamp paper यहाँ भी होता है, but to do anything in Russia, you have to sign a document.
Right.
फीस भरने की भी डॉक्यूमेंट है, आपको स्कॉलरशिप मिले उसका भी डॉक्यूमेंट है, उसके अगेंस्ट एक और डॉक्यूमेंट है, एंड उसके अगेंस्ट एक और डॉक्यूमेंट है, and then you get a document and they get a document and it's all documents. And if you lose one document, then you're in a lot of trouble.
Then there's a document for that as well.
Then there's a document for that as well. And if you lose that document, then you get deported. And then there's a document for that as well when you get deported.
Acha.
So it's all about they
So
love.
what was your वहाँ पे क्या ज़्यादा क्या चीज़ ज़्यादा appeal की in Russia?
Just the idea that nobody knew anything about it. It was like a black pond. Everybody was. So I talked to all of my friends about it, and they were like, "Why would you go there? Why don't you go to a safe place?" And I was like. So with Afghan war, there were a lot of Russian products coming into our region.
Yeah.
So I was really fascinated with that country, and I went there. As
Especially in Quetta.
Yeah. Like there was a lot of like motorcycles, candies, shoes, canned products, and all of that stuff. And we also had like a small market called Rusi market. वहाँ सारे products Russia से आते थे. And now वो तो अब खत्म हो गया ना because China came and all of that stuff. So. I went there as a boy who knew nothing what he was doing. I just got one of these in wool, a long coat, and I just went there, and a boy from hot Balochistan, like 30 degrees plus hot, dry desert Balochistan, goes into a country in Europe or Eurasia, and he sees minus 25 cold for the first time and snow is hitting his face.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. So the Russian alphabet is also a bit trickier than the usual English alphabet. So the Cyrillic alphabet it takes you like months to get used to that alphabet. I found a grocery store. I've got some noodles, of course, and I got a Pepsi Cola.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand that this is a cola.
Right.
And the Pepsi Cola there was also very sweet, surprisingly.
Sweeter than.
It was as sweet as Pakistani Pepsi.
Right.
And the noodles were terrible, but that was my first night. A bunch of Americans were really welcoming, and my roommate was Slovakian, and he was an interesting roommate, but it was good that we were only roommates for just a semester because he was also very annoying as a roommate. Cues about like, so the first day I went to university, I was a legit Pakistani and I was late, and everybody was waiting for me, and everybody was annoyed that because of you were late.
Really? Okay.
And
You were fashionably late, or you were just a little late?
I was just 20 minutes late. So,
okay, just 20 minutes.
So 20 minutes is considered very professional in Pakistan. If you want to be really late, you have to be 2 hours late.
Yeah.
The wedding hall closes at 9. At 10, you have to be there at 9:30.
Yeah.
And then you complain, "Ki kyun band ho raha hai?" Place, and we started studying.
But is the culture? How is the culture? Is it
Perfectly middle between Asia and Europe. They'll be
right? So like you can associate to it.
Of course.
But then you can't associate to it.
Of course. Because Russian culture cannot be described by any word, just by Russian. So they will take off shoes inside a house. Like, so most Europeans walk around with their shoes on. They will take their shoes off.
Yeah. Like the Asians.
So, but in Russia, it's rude to wear a hat indoors, which comes from Europe.
Yeah.
So since I'm not in Russia, like, I did not take my hat off. But if you are in an office or inside a home, in a public office, you have to take your hat off. Of course, in a church, the men take off their hats and whatnot. So the culture is extremely, extremely at the balance between East and West. And there was a lot of other stuff as well, like they do a lot of stuff which Asian people do, like ice cream के जैसे ice cream के डब्बे के अंदर सालन डाल लिया और ये वो freezed it. There's a lot of
we do that.
Yeah, a lot of European people don't do that. And there was a lot of, like, I understood the Russian attitude towards time. It was also like a bit like Pakistani. They were also never late. They were also never on time, but they expect you to be on time. So they will come late, but they expect you to be on time.
I think that's enough talk for today.
Asian people are
Next week, we are going to wrap up with part 2 of this episode. So thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and have a great day.